It was also the scene of a savage murder.
And 30 years ago today, a Montreal man attacked and murdered for being gay. The legacy of Joe Rose.
Joe knew that the only way that things were going to change is if people were open about who they were.
This is CBC Montreal News.
It was 30 years ago today. A young Montreal man was attacked by teenagers and stabbed to death. Joe Rose was openly gay and living with HIV, and his murder came at the height of the AIDS crisis. Sudha Krishnan takes a look back.
Louis-Alain Robitaille spends a lot of time in Montreal's gay village. When he stands at this park honoring those who died of AIDS, he remembers a friend who wore who he was with pride.
To wear a T-shirt saying I'm living with AIDS, like in big letters like that, it was like nobody had that guts back then, you know.
The gay rights activist remembers the headlines 30 years ago.
It was also the scene of a savage murder.
23-year-old Joe Rose was on a bus headed to Frontenac Station. He was taunted by a group of teenagers and kicked and stabbed to death. Rose had pink hair.
It was hard enough being identifiably queer at the time, which he was because he had crazy colored hair.
Freelance journalist Matthew Hayes says Rose's brutal murder came at the height of the AIDS crisis, and those who were gay rarely talked about it publicly. He remembers Rose writing a piece in Concordia University's student paper about who he was.
I remember the feeling of reading that article on campus and thinking, this guy, Joe Rose, is really brave.
In fact, many see Rose's murder as a turning point for Montreal's LGBTQ community and the stigma surrounding AIDS and HIV. But others wonder, 30 years later, how much has really changed. Rose's brother Jeffrey thinks about Joe every day and feels to this day people are targeted simply because they're different.
You know, I know people that still live in the village in Montreal that are scared to go out in the evening and holding hands.
We seem to be at a point where you know, this white nationalism movement is having a really terrible impact.
Still, those who knew Rose say they will continue to speak up.
It's a terrible thing that happened, but it made the world gay community work better together.
They say Rose never saw himself as a victim, though sadly, he became one. Sudha Krishnan, CBC News, Montreal.